Yay! Hi, hi. Happy Sunday. Forgive me. I'm going to show you exactly why I was a few minutes late, and you're going to have to immediately, like, MIB this from your memory after I show it to you, okay? But, like, here's my horrible chicken scratch. That's all you get. That's all you get. My horrible chicken scratch, because right before I was going to start the stream, Spirit was just like talking, all about Saturn and Aries. So they were giving me all of these phrases. Let's talk about it. Yesterday, Saturn entered the sign of Aries. Earlier this month, Neptune entered the sign of Aries. They will meet a little bit later. This is a pretty massive event. This happens, there are hundreds of years that pass between these events happening, and they tend to point to an entire, I'm going to say, a reshaping of the zeitgeist, a reshaping of the culture. Hey, hey, hola, hola, welcome, yay, Maria, Fernando, happy to see y'all. So, you may have heard me say before, it can be helpful to think of the inner planets, the fast-moving planets, relatively speaking, welcome El Kabong, Jupiter, Mars, the Moon, Mercury, etc., the signs that move, the planets that move fairly quickly through the signs are like the players in a play. And Neptune, Pluto, Saturn to a lesser extent, and Uranus, those that have these really long transits, they take a long time to go around the full zodiac. They're like the backdrop. They're like the setting. What colors, what shapes, right? The whole shape of the culture is changing. If you hadn't noticed, for better and for worse, things are undergoing a massive shift, and that's not accidental, it's right on time. And for any of my history buffs or people who are curious about this kind of thing, you might want to look up, what happened the last few times that Neptune and Saturn met, let alone in Aries. Really interesting stuff. So, Saturn in Aries, and my chicken scratch notes from Spirit. A few phrases to keep in mind. Do you know, first, where Aries is in your chart? What house that it rules? Like, for example, if you're an Aries rising, it rules your first house, right? If you could look up and find where Aries is in your chart, the house that Aries rules, so the house that Aries starts the cusp of the house, okay? The beginning of the house is ruled by Aries. That is the sector of your life where you are going to be called to take some kind of radical responsibility. Think about Saturn, think about Aries. These are the phrases that Spirit gave me. Wise initiative, matured leadership, inspired discipline, courageous responsibility. And it all kind of comes around to self, Aries, mastery, Saturn. My God, forgive me. It's been a bit of a morning, if you couldn't tell. It's been a lot of messages. There is a radical, courageous maturity that we're being asked to step into, to grow up. And if we think about that imagery right next to Saturn and Neptune will meet in Aries, there is something here about making our dreams tangible. And the flip side of that is recognizing where some dreams are never going to be real, right? A place where it's like, okay, I'm fantasizing, and Saturn meeting Neptune is asking me to get really real. What would be the real version of this? You know what I'm saying? Yes, maybe I want big, glamorous dream, right? No problems, no issues, like the perfect relationship that people dream about where it's like, oh, we never fight and this and that. And it's like, okay, that's not real. But what does it look like to have maybe healthy, loving conflict? And let me take some wise, kind of radical responsibility in this area of my life. So the chat won't show up to me the same as a comment. If you want to, especially those of you who are here live, if you want to drop in a comment what house the Aries rules in your chart, I would be happy to give you some feedback. Did you see those cards, Trump? Okay. Spirit's as ready as I am. And the cards are jumping like me. Okay. All right. We're going to keep that backdrop of wise initiative, courageous discipline. This is one way that Spirit is saying it to me right now, okay? let's imagine that Aries rules your fifth house. The fifth house is the house of creativity. It's the house of fun. It's the house of personal expression. You may have had a book or art or whatever idea in the back of your mind, but it was like, ooh, I don't know, ooh, I don't know, ooh, I don't know. Saturn in Aries is saying, you do know, and you need to get real and get serious about this. And so you might feel, as much as we give, Saturn gets a tough rap. You know what I mean? Because he's not Jupiter. He's not Venus. He's not like sprinkling fairy dust on everything. He's walking through the house that he rules in your chart with a fucking white glove and and pulling it along the surfaces and going, this is kind of dusty, huh? So I guess you haven't been paying attention to your physical health, huh? I guess I'm going to have to come in here and make sure that you clean up your fucking act. Like, that's what Spirit is saying. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get into the energy of the week. No doubt Saturn will make an appearance and Spirit will talk more about it. But again, feel free to drop that info in a comment and I will let you know. And also, when you're dropping that comment, let me know if you have like any planets there, anything else that is going on in that house that would make this extra significant for you. And a reminder, we're talking about Aries, but whenever something happens to one of the cardinal signs, right? Cardinal, mutable, or fixed. Those are the signs, the way that they can be. When something affects Aries, it affects strongly all of the cardinal signs because it is squaring something to do with those signs, right? So Libra, Capricorn, Cancer. Y'all will be feeling this to a slightly lesser degree, but it will be more intense for you than, let's say, the mutable and the fixed signs. All right. She kept saying, let's get into the cards. Let's get into the cards. Let's get into the day-by-day forecast. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that overarching sort of the sky of the reading, the cosmological weather that is really flavoring this week. And Spirit, within that climate, want to get into the day by day, get into the nitty-gritty so that we can know how to best meet this week and this new burgeoning energy in the air. Oh, Spirit is funny. If we don't take responsibility, Saturn tends to make more responsibility and push it onto us. So the more that you are willing to even if Saturn doesn't rule this sector of your house, but you're like, yeah, you know what? I've really been letting this part of my life go to seed. Like I haven't been taking care of my environment, or I haven't been taking care of my health, or I haven't been taking care of bliggity blank, blank, blank. And I've been knowing that I need to take responsibility. Go ahead and take it, because Saturn rewards people who take responsibility, and he does seem to appear to punish people who don't, but it's not really that. It's just, oh no, the consequences of my actions or inactions, you know, like, and that's why I say Saturn gets a bad rap, because he's not here to hurt, he's here to help. But it is a little bit like a benevolent drill sergeant. Okay. Oh, let's go. Starting with today, Spirit. Want to get the flavor and the weather of the week ahead. Please help each of us to prepare to meet each day in a way that brings it around to our highest good, in a way that we benefit from the energy, whatever it may be, Spirit. A way that brings us joy, peace, fulfillment, abundance. What do you want to bring our awareness to this week for our highest good? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All right. Let's go. Okay. We're going to talk about it. Oh my. That's really interesting. It's really fun doing these weeklies with y'all because the parallels. Hey, Hey, Lexi, happy to see you. And it is truly my pleasure. It's truly my pleasure. That was just my Taurus North Node that loves to be lazy talking. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, before I show you this, before I show you the card for today, I must remind you that we opened the reading and we have continued to talk about Saturn. That's all this is. Don't be scared. It's time to take radical responsibility. I mean, don't be scared is kind of the assignment with the devil. We may be attached to the devil we know, and so afraid of the devil we don't know that we tell ourselves that we're trapped here, but we're not. Can you see that their feet are free? Can you see that actually they could walk away anytime that they want to? But on first glance, you would just think, oh my God, they're chained there with that scary monster. And they are operating on first glance. They are not looking deeper. They are not questioning. Hey, welcome, Steph. They're not questioning. Am I lying to myself in any way? Am I deceiving myself in any way? And that includes like limiting yourself. That includes telling yourself like, no, I don't think I can do that. Or like, no, that's not gonna, why even say something to them? It's not even gonna turn out, I'm not gonna get what I want, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. That's devil-ish behaviors. This is also like dead end situations, toxic relationship, dead end job. Like, I know that this isn't the place for me, but it's scary to walk away. It's scary to walk away because at least this I know. So Saturn, where do you need to take some courageous initiative? Where do you need to ask yourself? I said that the devil is Saturn because the devil card is the Capricorn card. Saturn rules Capricorn. I said that Saturn was going to probably make an appearance, and Spirit is like, yes, we did not talk about this for no reason. Yes, you are going to be feeling this week. Hey, yes, you were right on time, Steph. We're still on Sunday. This is just today, and we were talking all about Saturn. So the devil is really just really emphasizing, bolding, underlining, italicizing Saturn. Saturn, where are you limiting yourself? You might need to look around and be a little bit more pioneering. Another Aries keyword, a little more fiery, a little more passionate. Okay? Okay. Now, don't expect yourself, as much as I am telling you, take courageous initiative and do some mature leadership and etc. No one, especially not Spirit, is expecting you to flip a switch. Okay, I'm not scared anymore. No. But it's questioning the power of that devil. It's questioning, am I really stuck here? Or if I want to, can I pull out of, and that's what Spirit is showing me is like, yes, exactly, inertia. Like pulling out of a rut or pulling out of, that feeling when you're driving really fast, and then you have to hit the brakes and it's like, ooh. And it's like that. And it's like that. You hit the brakes and then I'm alive. I'm good. Appreciate you. It's okay. You're naked on stream. Thank you. Appreciate you. For future reference, if I die in here, it's my own fault. He's doing his own mental health DJ show right now too, so I probably frightened them as well. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Isis. Sorry, baby. She's just looking at me like, you idiot. And she's right. Okay. So you don't have to flip a switch. That is, oh my God, I'm going to tell him you called him that. Okay, no, don't drink my coffee. This is a very chaotic day. This is a very chaotic day. Has it been chaotic for anybody else? It might be just me. Okay. And I'm a clumsy motherfucker, as you just saw. So, I remember where I was. Nobody's asking you to flip a switch. Nobody's asking you to suddenly stop being scared. But it is, so there's a little bit of jumpy energy. There's a little bit of hopping, sparkling energy in the air today. Okay, that makes sense to me. You don't need to break away from the devil in one day. It is, Spirit is saying, it's like you don't stop being an alcoholic by, oh, you know what, I just need to stop this. The first step to ending an addiction is, oh shit, this is a problem. Recognizing that something is a problem is a huge, massive first step to breaking away from the devil, to getting out of your chains. Okay? Okay. I say you don't have to hurry yourself. Oh my God! Oh my God! All the jokes about your neck. I want to hear everything. Okay, Monday, Moon Day. We had this last week, and this is pretty fitting coming right after the devil. So no one's asking you to flip a switch, but they're asking you to get into the mystery, to start asking yourself some questions. Last week we talked about the moon card reminds me of this phrase in French, entre chien et loup, between dog and wolf. Dog and wolf. At this, under the moon, you can't tell. Is that a dog or is that a wolf? Is my fear about to come and kill me? Or actually, is it something that I could develop a relationship with, like a dog? You know what I'm saying? We need to look closer. We need to look closer, and we need to kind of embrace the mystery and look into it. The moon is many things. The moon is our unconscious. The moon is our patterns. The moon is our mother. And mother, think of it as like even swimming in the amniotic pool before you came into this world. You were already picking up signals. You were already developing patterns and waves and moods, right? According to what she was going through. So there's a lot happening inside of you that maybe some of us are looking at the tip of the iceberg. And that if we were willing to dive a little bit deeper, we'd see, okay, so here's the root of my fear. The root of my fear is that if I take this risk and somebody sees me taking this risk and I don't succeed, that it's going to be the end of me, right? Like that's the tip of the iceberg, is like, no fucking way I could ever do karaoke or do whatever, right? We're just going to keep it light. Like we're going to keep it at the very tip of the iceberg that we're talking about. I'm too scared to do karaoke. At the bottom of that root is somebody made fun of me when I was, 6 or 7 years old, when I started singing in class. And from then on, that little bitty trauma became like scar tissue. And I just kind of built my life around it without even recognizing that it was scar tissue. And it has kept me from many little things, right? It has kept me from many small ways of feeling free to express myself. And it's worth looking at. It's worth liberating yourself and setting yourself free and being like, where did this come from? I want to get rid of this. Okay, so you may be facing some fears or having a bit of a moody day. That's something else that I'm hearing about Monday. And hey, it's Monday, right? It's already got a reputation. So don't force yourself to move quickly. Spirit is funny. They're like, that's going to be one challenge with Saturn in Aries, because they're kind of very opposing energies in that way. Aries likes to go and go now, and Saturn is like, hey, slow the fuck down. Have you tied your shoes? You know what I mean? And Aries is the type to run without tying their shoes, and they could trip. And I don't know about y'all, my brother broke his arm that way. Serious things can happen when we forget something as small as tying our shoes and we rush. So where is your metaphor for tying shoes? Take care of things. Slow down. If you feel this like pull to speed up and hurry, I mean, hello, everything that just happened there, that's that. Slow down. Don't force yourself to move quickly. And Spirit is saying facing your fears doesn't have to look like slaying dragons. It can just look like looking at it and being like, I'm right, I see you. I see you. I'm not even ready to face you. I'm not ready to attack you. I'm not ready to try to eliminate you. But I see you, fear of failure, or fear of intimacy, or fear of whatever. I see you. We're going to talk. Not now. I don't want to talk to you right now, but we're going to talk. Your own pace, okay? We don't want to do anything that throws your fucking nervous system off, because then you might run away for good. That's that kind of scar tissue stuff that we're talking about. So be gentle and easy with yourself today and tomorrow, okay? Really gentle and easy with yourself. If you do, Tuesday looks like a really important decision. Justice is bringing balance into our life via the choice that we make, or vice versa. Yes, we can make, quote unquote, the wrong choice, the choice that brings more imbalance into our life. What I'm hearing really strongly is stand up for yourself. Some of you, it may be something about like, I need to advocate for, I should be getting paid more, or I need to advocate for, this is very specific, but Spirit's like, talking about somebody that maybe has like some form of disability, and it's like I need to advocate for, I need to be able to work from home, or I need to be able to take more breaks, or I need to whatever. I feel like some people are going to be having kind of conversations like that, and this could be happening outside of work. This could be like an at-home conversation. Hey, I need this kind of accommodation for me to be able to keep my life in balance. And really, like, the justice card is kind of like signing on the dotted line, like I want to make a contract. Okay, and looking at these preceding cards, don't sign anything that you're not sure about and that you feel even a little bit might be limiting your potential, okay? If you need to say, if your justice choice needs to be, I'm going to need a week to think about this, or I'm going to need till Friday to think about this, and I'll get back to you with my decision, then do that. Hear everything that Spirit said about don't rush. Even if other people, especially if other people and other things are kind of demanding that you make a fast choice, that's a fucking red flag. Whether that's relationships, jobs, fucking timeshare, whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know why Spirit said that, but that's what they said. It's like, if you're being pushed, sign. If this is good today, this will be good Friday, right? Like, is it going to rot by Friday, or can I sign it then? Okay, then fucking relax. And I'll give you my decision when I'm ready. That's what I feel, okay? And you're worth it, so don't minimize the devil. Don't minimize your worth or your ability or, again, the potentials that you have, because they're much bigger and broader than you think. We're going to talk about it because this reading is expanding quickly from these initial cards. So Wednesday, important to note, another card that connotes choice. This or that, this or that. What I've been doing and all the skills that I've collected in this one arena of my life. A lot of us are being called to be a lot more ourselves. Saturn in Aries. Aries is the sign of self. So that makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense with everything that I've been hearing from Spirit. If you've been here for a few lives, you've heard me saying it, where Spirit is like, we really need people to root into who the fuck they are and what the fuck their gifts and interests and skills and fears are, not, oh my God, I'm getting swept along into groupthink. I'm getting swept into every thought trend, into every conflict trend, into every, no, my God, like, root in yourself. And Saturn in Aries is here to help us root in ourselves. And be like, you know, Mary Oliver, this is my one wild and precious life. What choices do I want to make? And I'm so sorry, I'm your Plutonian witch friend. When I'm dead and I get to look back at my life and they play the reel of my life for me, what do I want to be thinking and feeling? Do I want to go, oh God, ugh, that was the moment I really could have stepped up to the plate and I didn't do it, and now I'm going to have to go back to that hellhole earth and try this shit again? Or do you want to be like, look at me bully that racist off of a bus? True story. Good times. That's going to be one of my favorite reels. Okay, sorry, this isn't about me, but it is about being an Aries. And it's about, like, I don't care if I upset anybody right now. This is what I need to do. This is what's true. Aries is very true. They're very honest, to the point of bluntness, to the point of, like, they might seem rude to certain people because they're not willing to follow rules that they don't believe in and that keep them small. I would love to give you that story. That's a great idea. It's not even a very long story, but it was a lot of fun. So, Two of Wands, the bold choice. Hey, thank you, chingona, thank you. Okay, very important choice. Two of Wands, be bold, be bold. Aries, fire, passion. Make the passionate choice. So justice, if you're presented with this opportunity and it's like, do I limit myself or do I be bold? Be bold. The next day says, be bold. Think about what is, like, what makes you curious, what makes you excited. Spirit says, like, you need something to look forward to. You need something to be like, even if it's like a new hobby. Oh, I've always wanted to learn to make my own clothes. That sounds fun. That sounds exciting. This doesn't have to be, I found my calling. Like, maybe, and yay for you. Like, that's wonderful. And it could be something like that. That is just like, oh, this is a whole dimension of myself that I've always wanted to explore, but I never gave myself permission until now. Give yourself permission to explore. You don't have to be an expert. And Aries is a beginner. Aries is the first person on the dance floor. I don't care if you guys think I look silly. I don't care if you guys think, like, oh my God, they're out there by themselves. Geez, how embarrassing. Like, Aries didn't give a shit about that, right? When you make that kind of choice, when you push the wheel, Spirit gets behind the car and pushes with you. Seasons change when we change. Surprise. It's like that's not high-level spiritual knowledge. That's Saturn-style tangible shit. Yes, when I decide that I want to be different and I make choices that are aligned with that difference, again, this is another thing that Spirit is saying, this could be something like, I've been knowing that I need to change my diet in this way or something, because again, it doesn't have to be this big, giant thing. It can be, I've been feeling that I'm limiting myself in this way, and if I make this choice and change this up, it's going to be real. Hey, Spirit is like right over your shoulder. When you do that, Spirit pushes with you. Seasons change. 10, number 10, 1 and 0. The beginning and the completion. So the completion of one cycle and the start of a new one, and things are rolling. There is momentum, big momentum available as you face your fear, ask where it comes from, make a choice based on that. Things move. Friday, the Magician. Y'all will all see what I'm made of. I feel suddenly so empowered, so very different. Think of this as this person perhaps. At the beginning of the week, I didn't think that I had the power. I thought that this person, this institution, this belief system, this whatever, had all of the power and that I was stuck here. But actually, when I looked a little closer, I saw that what I thought was a wolf was actually a dog, and that it wasn't going to be able to rip me to pieces, and that I could make a choice. I could decide how to deal with it. I could be more bold. I could do what feels good and enlivening to me, and not necessarily always what the world wants or what seems sensible in the eyes of anybody else. And when I move, the world moves with me. And suddenly I am so empowered. I recognize that I have everything that I need at my disposal. Every element, every skill, every intelligence, every potential. It's what do you want to explore? What do you want to embrace? I said that this is 1 and 0, right? Number 10, number 1. Completion, new beginning. Oh my God, I've been telling myself that this wasn't going to work, but really, I've just been a little scared of this. And if I'm willing to face that fear and deal with the consequences, it's risk reward. Is the reward worth this risk? And it feels like it's a yes. And if it's not, then don't do it. But it's like, okay, risk reward. If I risk showing up to the art market and showing these paintings that I've had, and they've been hiding and dusty and in the dark for years because I've never wanted to show anybody my work, but I keep wanting to do this and wanting to do this, and I need a little more money, and it seems fun to me to sell my art. And you know what? Like, okay, I'm going to face the fear that nobody will buy anything. And that if, maybe even people will look over and point and chuckle or whatever. I'm willing to face the risk of that, because what if somebody likes it? What if somebody buys something? What if this becomes a viable side hustle? You know what? This reward, this potential reward is worth the risk. And then you do it, you risk it. And you discover, I'm really fucking talented. And I can really empower the fuck out of myself when I decide to be myself and embrace that most high aspect of Aries that is, I'm here to do me. I'm not a Libra, right? I'm not here to make sure everybody else is okay. I'm here to do me. And yes, we're not talking about Aries people specifically. We're talking about the energy of Aries and how all of us are meant at this point, because of Saturn in Aries, to feel and to anchor into that vibe of Aries. Look out for number 1. And Spirit is being very punny. They're like, look out for number 1, as in look out for yourself and take care of yourself and do what you want. But also, everybody better look the fuck out. Y'all better look out, because here I come, knowing what I'm capable of. Okay? And when you look out for number 1, and when you do you in this really benevolent, healthy way, what follows next Saturday is an exchange of cups. And Spirit is having me pick this up and draw a comparison here. When we choose to walk down the path that feels exciting and bold and maybe a little bit, again, risky, just because it's the road less traveled, just because we've made one way in our life our whole life, And trying a new thing can be a little bit uncomfortable, even if it's not negative. It's just the difference between if you've worn all black, gray, and white your whole life, like, right, if you've been walking through the world in neutral colors all the time, and then tomorrow you walk out wearing red and yellow, you're gonna feel a little bit like uncomfortable, even though nobody in the world would be like, oh, how weird that they're wearing red and yellow. You're the only one with that, like, that perspective, right? And you can project that fear onto other people. They're all gonna think I look weird. They're all gonna call me Ronald McDonald. I know it. I never should have worn red and yellow. And you run back in the house and you put on your black and your gray and you hide again. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Allow yourself to be seen, being yourself. Your people will gravitate to you. People that want to relate to you. You will suddenly become, and this is just how Spirit is putting it, you will suddenly become visible to people that, like, previously hadn't been able to see you. I'm not talking about some shit like, oh, you've had a crush on this person and they've never seen you. I'm talking about, I never would have known that you were this kind of person because you were walking around in blacks and grays and neutrals with your head down looking at your feet. I never would have known that you're so funny and so creative and so passionate and so excited about the future. You know what I'm saying? So it's representing our true self, embracing our true self, and not expecting perfection of it. It invites connection. It invites intimacy. It invites new friendships. It invites all kinds of beautiful new relationships. Because, big fucking surprise, the relationship that we have with ourselves begets the relationship that we have with anybody else. As willing as I am to know myself and to go through fearful or confusing moments with myself without being mean to myself or talking shit to myself, that's the better fucking companion that I'm gonna be, right? You know how comfortable it feels to be around somebody who, like, knows themselves, understands their weaknesses and their strengths, and, like, is connected to that, and isn't like, well, you shouldn't have made me mad. You know what I mean? And they're more like, I'm really sorry that I lost my temper earlier. I didn't sleep very well, and I didn't eat this morning, and that was not your fault, and I totally went off, and I was a real asshole. I'm really sorry about that. That is a really comfortable person to be around, as opposed to the person that's like, well, maybe you forgot to make my coffee, and it just really upset me. God, you never remember to do the coffee, and while we're at it, you never do the da-da-da-da-da, and it's everybody else's problem but theirs. Spirit's like, there's more than one positive outcome to knowing ourselves. And one of them is even knowing our quote-unquote negative side and becoming a safer, better person for it. It's really ironic how people want to avoid their worst qualities, and that really emphasizes their worst qualities. And it's like, Spirit is like, imagine taking your worst qualities and putting them in a damp, dark cellar. It's like all it does is grow mold. So you're trying to hide that you're vain, or that you're selfish sometimes, or that you get insecure sometimes. You're trying to hide that. All that does is allow it to multiply and actually get a lot more toxic than it would be if it was just sitting on a kitchen shelf in the sun. Like, oh yeah, that's my insecurity. I do get a little insecure sometimes. Like, don't let it bother you. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's get into the fucking elemental forecast, shall we? That was a rather rollicking week. But it looks like it gets really good. I'm very curious to see where we all end up next week when we meet again. Okay, I'm hearing air signs. So that's where we're going to start. Aries. Oh, my God, Aries. Oh, my God. Let me just throw down the set again. It's not Aries, it's Aquarius. I know who I'm talking to. I'm so sorry. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Spirit, we want to know the elemental through line for the air signs this week. What energy or awareness do you want to bring for their highest good? Okay, we already have our first stalker card. Let's see where this goes. Okay, now Spirit, for air signs, what about when it comes to money? Jobs, opportunities. We want to know the truth for their highest good. Spirit, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What do they need to know about their pentacles this week? Okay. Interesting. In their headspace, Spirit, the words, the thoughts. Appreciate y'all. The messages, the kind of atmosphere, the mental atmosphere that they are in this week, okay? And what about the realm of the heart? Feelings, emotions, connections, Spirit. Beautiful. And finally, Spirit, want to look at their energy. What is their energy level this week, and how do you want them to be aware of its direction for their highest good, Spirit? How can they best use their energy in the most effective, inspiring way? Okay. Geez, talk about completion. Okay, air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Wheel of Fortune, first stalker card up from the weekly forecast. Completion and a new beginning. And Spirit is really emphasizing for me here that when we make changes, there are ups and downs. And Spirit is again bringing it to something like the physical body because it's just a very simple way to express this, right? If somebody, oh, wow. This is deep, okay? This is metaphorical. This might be true, and this might actually make some of your like hair stand up on end because you're like, no, actually, this is, I'm having this physical experience as well. But you're meant to take this as a metaphor. Somebody might have gut issues, and they don't even know that their gut, their microbiome is completely, thrown off. But they have an inkling. And so they're like, you know what? I think I need to go ahead and take some probiotics or whatever, or eat some kimchi and start eating more fermented foods and in a natural way, kind of like bring some new good bacteria to my gut and whatever, right? And so they start doing that. And without the knowledge of what that process looks like, they might be like, bruh, I am never eating kimchi again, or I'm never taking probiotics again. My stomach was so upset. I was farting up a storm. I was more uncomfortable than I've ever been. I knew it. I'm actually just made to eat nothing but Burger King. That's just, my body is set up like that. I don't know. I'm just different. I'm built different. And it's like, no, there's downs. There's a down beginning part, right, to clearing up like the different culture in your life, changing the cultures. You hear what I'm saying? Changing the cultures in your life can be upsetting. There's a downside before you get to the up of like, oh, okay, after a week of my body adjusting to this new healthier diet or these new nutrients that I needed, actually I feel a whole lot better. But I might have stopped 5 days ago if I thought, oh my God, see, it's making me sick. All this good food, like it's making me sick. No, there's ups and downs. Hold on through the process, okay? You're making this really important change in your life. Hold on through the process because 10 of major arcana. The Wheel of Fortune is positive momentum, and it's a necessary change. So if you get a little, like you're on a roller coaster, like, oh God, oh, I just posted on the internet for the first time. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Hold on through it. You're making very, again, positive changes. When we look at money, jobs, opportunities, I see you, Spirit is saying making a change on purpose. So let me make a distinction. This is like, I want a new job. I'm going to go looking for a new job. Not, oh my God, my job, disappeared and now I'm scrambling. No, this is like, what would happen if I changed this? What if I did this with my money or with my skills? Spirit is also bringing me back to some of you might decide, yes, exactly. Yes, discomfort curve, same as a learning curve, right? Exactly. This says you have your skills, your money, your tangible opportunities under control, and you would benefit from moving them around. Move. Make moves. Maybe it could be as simple as I've been spending my money on this and it's like it's a waste of money or it hasn't really had the outcome that I wanted. So I'm actually going to remove and withdraw that money that I was paying into this and I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to invest it in this because that's going to pay off more, whether that's I'm going to pay off a debt or I'm going to take a class or whatever because it's going to have fruitful change for me. That's really the phrase that Spirit is having me lean on is fruitful change. So what do you need to shift to bring into balance when it comes to your money, or even, again, your skills. I'll bring it back to what Spirit was saying about the person who has art. And it's like, what if you took it to the art market? Or what if you put that shit on Etsy? You might be surprised that if you put a little bit of effort into creating this little Etsy store, or like buying this booth or whatever, that actually you make more money and things move in a better direction. Okay? Okay. When it comes to your headspace, you need space. You need space this week, and you need recovery time. I mean, we're talking to the air signs. So I'm a Libra. I'm an air sign. We think all the time. We're thinking, think. Want to or not, the brain is always running. And it can feel strange for air sign people to purposefully kind of shut down the conscious mind, doing things like meditating, or it doesn't have to be classic meditation. It could be, I'm going to take a long bath and I'm not going to scroll my phone while I do that. Or I'm going to take a walk in nature and I'm not going to, again, scroll my phone or listen to podcasts while I do that. I'm going to create space so my thoughts can get in order. So you need breathing room, you need clarity and recovery time. So this is your week ahead, yellow light, to take a look at your calendar. And if you can already feel like this is a little overstuffed, or I don't really see space that I can take for myself here, this is your yellow light to go ahead and create that space now, and cancel or postpone some plans now so that you have some recovery time. And I also want to give you this. If you are an air sign person who consistently finds themselves having to close the blinds, turn the phone on do not disturb for days on end and shit like that, you probably need a more consistent Four of Swords space routine. You probably need something like, when you get home from work, you tell everybody, and for an hour after I get home from work, I don't exist. And nobody talk to me. I'm a fucking ghost. Okay? No, don't make eye contact. I'm just going to go to my room and I'm going to decompress. I'm going to unwind, and then I will be a human again and you can come talk to me. That kind of thing. Take your space, okay? Lay boundaries. Fours are about boundaries. So create the space and the boundaries that you need so that your mind can rest. Rest, okay? Sometimes we think that we need to think to figure something out. And really, truly, sometimes it's as soon as we stop thinking and the waters can kind of smooth out, right? The swords are wind. They're the air element. So when the wind is all kicked up, it's hard to see to the bottom of our feelings of the water, right? If you find some stillness, you will likely find some emotional clarity and a breakthrough, okay? Clear your mind and let your heart speak. Let your soul speak. If you need to do some spontaneous crying, do that. You might need to empty a well, okay, so that it can be filled up again. And again, I feel very positive with that. I don't feel anything negative at all. It's not a Five of Cups, it's an Ace of Cups. It's kind of like relief, release. These are things that I'm hearing. So make an appointment with yourself for release. And again, like Spirit said, ideally on a daily basis, especially if, again, you find yourself needing to take these extended closeouts all of the time, okay? Really beautiful card. Endings and beginnings with the tens. Little shifts can create big waves. Finally, when we look at your energy, you have a matching 10. You have the Wheel of Fortune, you have the 10 of Wands. What I hear is that some of you may take something to the end of the finish line this week. Completion of a project, or arrival at, you know what? I don't need to do all this shit. So whether it's you cross the finish line with your 10 wands, or you stop in the middle of your journey holding all of these wands, all of these responsibilities, putting it all on your own back, right? Taking care of everything. And you might decide, I don't need all of these. Or I can delegate a couple of these or delete a couple of these. Yes, I feel that you can take this all the way if you want to. The 10 of Wands shows great perseverance, okay? It's like stubborn perseverance of I can do it. I can make it. I can carry all 10 and get there. I believe that you can, but is it fun? Are you having fun? And if you do need to lighten your load, you should do that. Maybe give some thought to, again, what could be delegated or deleted in my life? What perhaps extra pressure could I be putting on myself that I don't necessarily need to put on myself? And Spirit is giving me something specific. This is not for everybody, but this is for somebody. You are not responsible for other people's emotional states. So that is a wand that you can drop. If somebody is going to be unhappy with you, that you are drawing a boundary or that you are creating more space for yourself, then they need to deal with their own feelings about it, and you don't need to be carrying that and taking that on, okay? So that is just for whomever it is that's like, oh girl, that's me. So take that. Okay. I'm hearing water now. So I hope that that is helpful, air signs. Now we will move on to Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces Spirit. What is the elemental through line for the water signs this week? Sun, moon, rising, or water dominant people. What is the theme, Spirit, that you want to bring to their awareness for their highest good? That when they focus on this, it brings them closer to joy, peace, abundance, love. Beautiful, beautiful card. Okay. What about money? And yes, exactly, Steph. It's like, nope, that is not my job. Where am I taking responsibility for shit that is not my responsibility? I mean, let that shit go. Woo! I didn't mean to go on about this, but now Spirit is adding a detail and they're being very specific and saying some of you, it's like your parents. Like I'm taking on the burden of I don't want to offend them. I don't want to shock them. I don't want to hurt their feelings with this new way that I've realized I am, or this new way that I realize I need to be. This is your life. They did a lot of wonderful things for you. You do not owe them a personality. You know what I mean? Like you might, feel like you owe them respect or love or etc. You do not owe them, I dress the way you want me to dress, or I date the people you want me to date, or I do the jobs that you want me to do when meanwhile I want this other thing. Be you. Okay. All right. Tuning back in. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces when it comes to their money, their jobs, opportunities, their skills, Spirit. Where do you want the water signs to put their focus when it comes to their pentacles? Hey. Okay. And what about their mind, Spirit, the headspace of the water signs? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, Spirit. What do you want them to know about the quality of their thoughts? Interesting parallel. Okay, okay. And how about relationships, Spirit, emotions, feelings, connections, the realm of the heart? Interesting. Okay. And finally, Spirit, what about the energy of the water signs? Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Where are their passions? I'm hearing the word stalwart. So somebody is being very stalwart. Oh, damn, I can't read the end of your chat, but it looks very juicy. I want to be able to see it. Okay, I'll catch up with it after. Okay. Water signs. The theme for this week, hello, water, but also 1 foot on land. I'm going to make an immediate comparison. There's a strong, already parallel about balance, and also about moving on from things that you have finished. Okay, but we're going to talk about it. So, the star, hope springs eternal. What moves you? What vision do you hold for yourself? And Spirit is really wants me to put it like a question mark, exclamation point on that. What vision do you hold for yourself? How do you want to walk through the world? They say that as opposed to what is your vision for the world? Because we can have a vision for how we want the world to be, but the world is going to world. You know what I mean? Like we're in this reality where everybody is split into all these different, we're not a hive mind. We're not as collective as, you know, a hive of bees. We all have our own way of thinking and being, and Spirit is like, that's on purpose. If Earth was supposed to be like a hive, it would be like a hive, but it is more of a food forest than a cornfield. We're all here to be different. We're all here to perform different functions and to harmonize, not all to hit the same note, right? We're here to hit our own note as best that we can. What is the note that you want to hit? What is the light that you want to be in the world? What is the nourishment that you want to pour into the world? It could be your art. It could be your compassion. It could be your courage. It could be your fucking rap. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you do and that you want to, that you light up the world when you do it? Spirit is asking you to really think about that. And they're asking me, what are your gifts? You know, they're being punny, but it's like, what do you have to give? And how could you go about sharing it? Because you have something really beautiful inside of you. And maybe for some of you, it's something like literally going and, you know, the way that I want to walk through the world is as a compassionate being who shows up for those who don't have. And so a way that you want to walk through the world is going and volunteering at the food bank, or going and delivering meals to some people that you know that live under this fucking overpass over here. That kind of thing. That's what Spirit is showing me. How can you share generously of who you are? Because what they're saying is there will be great returns for it. Internal and external. Like, wow, I feel good and I feel full because of what I'm doing. And it's just the way the world works, that when we contribute, the world contributes back to us. It may not come via the same person that we contributed to, or the place that we hope that the contribution comes from, or the way that we hope I make a bunch of money off this or whatever. It's like, okay, you didn't make a bunch of money, but you made 3 friends for life, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It can come through different avenues, but you can expect to have your blessings and your investments returned. Particularly when you give them just because it feels right to give them. The 6 of Swords. I see you, and actually I just got to pull this up, and that means we got to pull the star back up too. Oh my gosh, okay. You've got cards for moving on, particularly from moving on from difficult or toxic or even just confusing and draining types of situations. The 6 of Swords is taking everything that you've learned from a battle, right? All these swords that you had to fight off and then pull out of various wounds, right? And now you can use what you have learned to sail on to clearer, brighter days. These are some mistakes I will never make again. Or these are some things I learned about myself that were invaluable, even though I didn't want to go through that divorce, or I didn't want to go through getting laid off. But I tell you what, I am not going to walk away at a net loss. I am going to get something out of this. Even if it's just, I learned this, I learned that, I learned this, and I will never do that again. And you use that to make life clearer and to make it easier to move on, not harder, right? And the 8 of Cups is a card about moving on, both physically but also emotionally, from things that have been limiting us, from drinking out of these sort of numbing or intoxicating cups. The 8 of Cups says to me that in some way, some water sign people have been accepting less than they know that they want or deserve. Where it's kind of like, and I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. One version is, okay, I was really infatuated with this person, right? And I was really like, oh my gosh, is this going to become a relationship? Are we eventually going to fall in love? I don't know. Right now we're just, you know, he wants to see where it goes or whatever. And like, okay, you're seeing where it goes. And eventually you realize that this person is never going to be up for the level of commitment that you were like hoping this was moving towards, right? You become aware of this. And as you spend more time with this person, the fun, the joy, the excitement drains until actually you come to the point where you go and you hang out with your situationship person, you know, and then you go home or they leave or whatever it is, and you realize you feel lonelier, like for having spent time with them. That is a kind of 8 of Cups moment where it's like this melancholy realization that like, damn, I have to move on from this. This isn't good for me. It's taking the drink after a long day that used to make you feel relaxed and happy, taking the drink and feeling anxious, feeling worse, and being like, damn, this is really, I'm really being pushed to grow out of this habit or out of this way of being. And the star, number 17, reduces to 8 numerologically, right? So it rules the 8s in the tarot. It takes a whole lot of faith and strength to walk away from something that used to make us feel like this used to be fulfilling. I used to feel like I was growing in this relationship or in this job or in this identity, but now it's really limiting and actually kind of toxic, and it's actually making me feel worse. And I don't have any guarantee that leaving this cruddy relationship or job or whatever it is, this habit behind, I don't have any guarantee of what's out there that could be better than this. So I have to go on faith. And that's why it's related to the star. There's no guarantee, but you will notice this person is walking away from these very limited, finite cups toward this free-flowing source. She doesn't want to drink stagnant, toxic shit. She wants something fresh. She's got her walking stick out because she knows she has a way to go, a journey. And she's going to follow her North Star, because that's all she can operate by when she walks in the dark, when she walks, again, without knowing what is ahead, right? Metaphorically speaking, in the dark, we have to navigate by the stars. So when all else fails to tell us, like, yeah, come this way and do this, that's when we get quiet and we go within, whether we pray, whether we meditate, whether we whatever. We find what is our North Star and we follow that. So don't be afraid to walk into the unknown. I'll say don't be afraid of being afraid. It's okay to be afraid. Being afraid is not necessarily a barometer for you've done the wrong thing. Sometimes being afraid is just a barometer for, wow, I made a really gigantic change by taking this step. Holy shit. Don't let discomfort scare you off from doing the thing and following through, okay? This looks like a really healthy move. Your energy, very strong. Be vigilant. Keep your eyes open is something that I'm really hearing. And Spirit is saying there's going to be, you're going to be asked to practice some discernment. There are going to be battles worth fighting this week, and there are going to be battles that are very worth turning down and walking away from. And that's where they want you to use that vigilance or that discernment. Is, for example, if, let us go back to our example of a person who has ended up in a situationship where they're realizing like, wow, I'm really unfulfilled and I'm going to have to walk away. You can be discerning about, okay, I told this person, oh, you know what? It's been great, but this isn't working out for me, so I need to put an end to this. And then a few days later, you get the 3 a.m. WYD, you up, I miss you. One letter. I don't know what it is. For me, that is so offensive. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just a geriatric millennial. If anybody sent me, I miss you, I'd be like, block. WYD, you up. You get that text, and it hurts, and it hurts, and it's uncomfortable to say, like, no, I don't care if they miss me. Just because they miss me doesn't mean that when I go back and sip out of these cups again, anything is different. They didn't write to me and say, I was wrong. I want to commit to you. You're the one for me. I'm an idiot. I can't believe I let you walk away. Let's make this happen or whatever. No, they're really doing. No, be vigilant. Have the fights that you need to fight and be strong through the fights that you don't need to have. And you do not necessarily need to engage with everybody that wants to fight with you. So use your discernment and act on your faith. You know, the star doesn't have a fight with everybody. Okay? Okay. She's doing her own thing. And she'll send this little crane to pick out their eyes. She's like, I'm not going to lower myself by having an altercation. But I will tell the universe that I need some help getting this person off of my back. And I'll just know that birds are taking a dump on their head and they're running into all these red lights. And the universe is going to help keep this person off my back if that is what I ask for as I go about taking my new journey. Okay? Okay. Benevolent pranks from the universe. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now I'm hearing fire. So let's talk to our fire signs. I hope that that is helpful, water people. You are worthy. That's really the other headline that I'm hearing is like, you are worthy and you are worthy of doing it the way that you want to do it. Even if nobody else gets it, even if everybody else is like, that fucker is walking around like they live in a Disney movie or a fairy tale. Like, oh, if I help out this stranded turtle and if I help this bee get over the flowers, oh, what a silly bastard. You live like you. And if you want to save bees and worms, you do that. It's a weird day. Okay. All right. Yes. Yes. 100%. We are living in the Disney movie of our dreams. Okay. So fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Once again, in a different way for the fire signs. Saturn entering Aries, whether you're a Leo or Sagittarius, you will be also affected by Saturn entering Aries because it's an aspect with your fellow fire sign, right? So that Saturn will be trining whatever placements that you might have in Aries and Sagittarius, which thankfully is a more supportive angle. But no matter what kind of angle Saturn makes with our chart, it is still asking us to like take responsibility or firm things up or declutter things in some way. So don't be surprised if you feel a little bit of that pressure because that ingress or that moment that the planet enters the sign is usually a time when we will kind of really feel it strongly or receive some sort of kind of like characteristic event where it's like, oh yeah, I can really see when that shifted in my life. So look out for that. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Spirit want to know the theme. What you want to bring their awareness to. Love. Okay. For their highest good this week. And now when we look at the money for the fire signs, skills, opportunities, income, jobs, Spirit, where do you want to bring fire signs' attention to when it comes to their pentacles? Okay. And how about their headspace? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius people, Spirit. Okay, interesting. And how about the realm of emotions, connections, relationships, the realm of the heart? When it comes to the fire signs, Spirit, what is the elemental through line when it comes to the cups? Hey, okay. And finally, their own element, Spirit, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. When it comes to their fire, their light, their energy, Spirit, what do you want them to know about it? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Oh, hello. Oh, geez. Don't let my phone die before the stream is over. Okay, I'm going to start talking at double speed. Oh, my God. Don't do it. Okay. The Lovers. Beautiful, beautiful card. Everybody wants to see the card of big, bold decision-making. Listening to your better angels. If I were to hold the Devil card up next to the Lovers card, you would see the similar imagery. And one of the things that would be different is the Lovers characters are at their full size versus those Devil characters are shrunk down. The power of love versus the love of power and what that does to you, right? So listen to your better angels. Make big, bold decisions that feel aligned with your entire soul. Okay? And when I say something that feels aligned with your soul, another way of saying that is it makes you excited, it makes you curious, you really want to investigate whatever like struggles or challenges or whatever that you will meet as you go about becoming yourself, listening to your better angels, taking the risks that sound good to your soul, that you are ready to face them and deal with them. This looks really good. And part of this decision looks like walking away from shit that isn't yours to handle anymore. We're going to talk about that in just a second. First, when it comes to your money, your skills, your interests, move them around. Put them to use. I'm actually hearing that some of you might, it's like if you've been thinking about applying for jobs, or if again you've been thinking about like, I think that I could do a side hustle, so I'm going to put my skills up on Fiverr or Upwork or one of these like freelance sites. I'm feeling like there's money to be had from putting some effort into just kind of rearranging things. And the Lovers says, again, making this big, bold choice. Oh, Spirit is showing me. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you've ever seen The Shawshank Redemption, and if you haven't, so Shawshank Redemption, great movie. It's a movie about somebody in prison. And what Spirit is specifically showing me, oh, and I feel bad. If you want to see the movie, then mute me for a few seconds because I'm going to give you a spoiler. Or you could get spoiled and use the metaphor. So, our protagonist in this movie is falsely imprisoned. He's in his cell. He's got a Rita Hayworth poster. We find out toward the end of the movie, he has been digging himself a little tunnel behind that Rita Hayworth poster, and he's been making his way out. And Spirit is saying that about something in your life. Could be like a job, could be a relationship, could be even just like, I want to move away from this geographical location. This is you taking your spoon and digging your tunnel. So again, for some of you, it's like, I need more money, so I'm going to start this little side hustle and start saving up, even if it's just a little at a time. I'm going to start saving up by doing this other thing. Notice the infinity symbol. The way that I move my skills and my money around, it could become infinite. All I need to do is be a little bit freer with my movement, not so still, not stagnant, the opposite. What if I try this? What if I try that? Experiment a little bit. Again, be bold. When it comes to your headspace, walking away from a conflict that you do not need to fight. Taking what is yours, I'm hearing the phrase cutting your losses. So if something has been really severely mentally stressing you out, I see this as kind of being like, you know what? You win. You win, quote unquote. And that can be really hard for the fire signs to do, okay? To kind of resign themselves to like, I can't save you, or I can't get you to understand this truth, or whatever. And at this point, I just need to wash my hands of this. I just need to cut my losses. Spirit is also showing me the example of somebody sitting at a casino table. And it's like they showed up with $500 and they've bet $499 and lost, right? So this is like, you know what? I'm not going to fall for that sunk cost fallacy. Like, well, I can't walk away with only $1. I showed up with 500. Bitch, you could walk away with nothing. Take the $1 and leave. So take what is yours, what hasn't been spent yet, cut your losses and leave. Whatever situation feels like an endless fight. And that's just what I'm hearing, and we will just jump over there. Here's the endless fight. 7 of Wands. And fire sign people, we have more passion available to continue an endless fight than most. So really ask yourself, what am I fighting for? If what you're fighting for is worth it, and you're like, yup, I'm down to fight for this, this really matters to me, then it feels to me like you can win. But there are other conflicts where it's like, this is not even doing anything. And I'm just going to give you the example that I'm hearing, which is fighting for, let's say, people's right to be who they are, to be free, to live in a country without fear of being black bagged. Yes, a worthwhile fight, right? And I'm going to keep doing it. Now, arguing with dumb motherfuckers in the comments about my post that is worthwhile to share, probably not worth my energy. Probably my energy, especially my mental energy, could be better spent elsewhere. So I'm going to drop that shit. I'm going to block and move on. You know what I mean? Block and move on. Block and move on. That's what I'm hearing. Bringing you back to your theme card and then bringing you to your emotions. It seems like this could actually be a really emotionally satisfying week. So for all that you are cutting losses and walking away from certain things, it's like, remember that cutting your losses means gains. Means, oh my God, now there's room for all kinds of wonderful new things to enter my life because I've eliminated this person or this habit that is draining the shit out of me, and actually like I want more time for myself, right? So Spend time. Yes, exactly. Never going to change a mind in the comment section. That's not what people are there to do. They're there to try to get their little rage-gasm off, right? So we're all just fucking rage-gasming all over each other, and it's just a mess. It's just like pointless, right? So be with your people. Don't worry about fighting the people you're against. Worry about supporting the people that you are for. Joining with, growing with, enjoying each other. That is how the world is going to improve. That is what it looks like to listen to your better angels. The only way to fight evil is not to fight evil. It is also to support good. So know yours and do yours. I mean, it is what it is, right? Okay. Now, again, because I don't want my phone to die and it gave me the fucking low power thing. I tell you, I've been charging this thing for hours. It's been that kind of day. It's been that kind of day. Okay. So, earth signs. Let's get into it. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Spirit, we want to know the theme for this week. What Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, what earth sign dominant people need to know for their highest good. Beautiful. And we want to know, Spirit, when it comes to the earth sign's own element, skills, resources, money, opportunity. Okay, makes sense to me. And what about their headspace, their thoughts? The kind of conversations they are having internally or externally, Spirit. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, what is the vibe? Okay. What about emotionally? When it comes to feelings, relationships, when it comes to the mood of the week, for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Spirit, what do you want to bring their focus to in the realm of cups? Okay. And finally, what about their energy? Their light, Spirit. How is their energy being demonstrated this week? What do you want them to know for their highest good? Okay. The headline, don't ignore inspiration. Some of y'all be having great ideas and then you're like, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's practical. Or you just don't write it down. And then later it's like, what was that really good idea I had? Like, when you have a good idea, please grab that and take it. Like, divine inspiration is present. And that's actually the phrase that Spirit is using as I pull this card. Could have something to do with Saturn and Aries trining for like Leo, Sagittarius, right? Being in supportive aspect to you, like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is how my divine fire, my divine spark wants to be directed, right? Saturn and Aries vibes. Yes, exactly. Write it down because it doesn't stick around forever. We wish that it did, but that's not its nature, right? Inspiration is ephemeral. It's not there forever. It's meant so we do something with it. It's meant so that we take a step or create something or build or write or draw or whatever, right? So when the divine inspiration and the divine spark comes, earth signs, pay attention. Don't tell yourself that it's impractical or that, oh no, it can only be done like this. This little square I have for myself, these are the only boundaries that I can work within. Only if it makes me money can I do this inspiration, or only if I have a guarantee of success. No. You might be, just do a full spoiler alert. This week, you may find yourself trapped in your head or in your comfort zone. Big misnomer with that comfort zone, that discomfort zone, that bored zone, that I've known every corner of the zone and I'm so bored. It's funny, Spirit is reminding me of once upon a time I dated a French baker. And as a person who loves to eat, can I tell you, it was an ecstatic period. But what this person told me that Spirit is reminding me of right now was one of the things that he loved about Paris was he could always get lost. That he grew up in Paris, but the way that the spiral streets and there's so many corners and interesting things that he could always get lost in Paris. And Spirit is like, you need to get lost in Paris. You need to go exploring and finding new corners and having little adventures, even inside of your life. You don't got to go to Paris, right? the Paris of your personality, your neighborhood, your environment, your interests, your skills. Go explore and find some new things, because you're telling yourself that you're stuck. Or you're telling yourself, I'll go just as soon as, the universe gives me, again, the guarantee or the clear sign. Like, I'm not satisfied with just a little bit of inspiration or a hint, universe. I need Mufasa to part the clouds and remember who you are, Simba. And also here's straight up directions to that place that you're supposed to go. And here's the name and the date and down to the minute of where you're supposed to go meet your inspiration. No, that's not going to happen. Part of the whole thing is the exploration and the finding out how to trust your intuition and to follow your faith. The bumbles and stumbles on the way to ecstasy are part of your story. So don't tell yourself, I don't want to fumble and stumble, so I'll just stay right here. I'll just stay right here like this. You have a lot more available than you are letting yourself know right now. It's just you're kind of standing on your skills or standing on your money and saying, this is the only way this can work. There's more than one way for this to work. The Four of Cups is actually a card of blessings. It's just letting you know you might be so focused on, but I wanted it to be like this, or this is how it was supposed to go, that you might miss the sign, the blessing, the gift that is coming in. And Spirit is funny, but they just said the gift can look like somebody dumping you. The gift can look like somebody ghosting that wasn't worth a fucking damn. And it forces you to be like, well, shit, they were not shit. I was sitting around waiting for them to be the shit, and really they were not shit. What the fuck? Okay, fine. I guess I gotta go find something new. I guess I gotta go get excited about something different. So here's kind of the moral of the story. Spirit is like, take initiative, because if not, it feels like the universe might decide to scooch something out of your way or remove something for you, right? A judgment moment can become a tower moment when it's not acknowledged. And right now it's not even a judgment moment. It's a star moment. Like, hey, you're supposed to be following a sort of different path. You're supposed to be listening to your internal voice and your soul and moving by that. Are you doing that? Or are you holding yourself back, telling yourself that you're waiting for fill in the blank? I'm waiting for more information. I'm waiting until I feel like I'm good enough. I'm waiting until blah, 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 blah to take the steps that feel more like me or feel more fun or feel more bold. Don't wait. Fumble and stumble on your way to ecstasy. You have permission, okay? The blessing, a blessing is in it for you if you will uncross your arms and make yourself vulnerable and go out and offer what you have to the world. This person has their back turned to a bustling city where people would love to trade pentacles and coins and skills with them. But they're like, nope, I'm stuck here. It's like, nope, if you would just turn around and walk a couple hundred feet, you would be able to find out what you're worth. Oh God, there goes my phone again. Okay, we're going to call it there before this just blinks out on y'all. I hope that is helpful for Earth signs. I hope that is helpful all signs. Whoopee, Saturn and Aries, keep an eye out. Be sure to get a little post-it and scribble down anything that might happen to you. I would love to hear about it next Sunday when we get together. It does seem like Sunday is the day, so Sunday it shall be until any further notice. Aw, you're so welcome. It is a total pleasure to be here. It was so much fun, and it always is. Okay, before this goes off, I love y'all. I'll see you next week. Bye.